Okay, just make sure there's no feedback. What? Okay, here we go. I see what's going on. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. So I'm live. So how's everybody doing? This is a really going to be really end up being a very quick video. In fact, probably one of the quickest videos that I do. I am pressed for time. I was late getting into the office, and tonight I'm not going to be able to do anything, upload anything, or to record anything because I'm actually going out to a concert with a good friend of mine. We're going to go to the city, New York City, good old New York City, and catch Azonic and KTL and a whole bunch of other, crazy dark, drony sounds. And I'm very much looking forward to it. But I very much wanted to at least get on with you guys for at least, 15, 20 minutes. and and talk to you just a little bit to touch base. I know I didn't record anything yesterday, so I wanted to get some stuff off my chest. It's funny. Someone already mentioned Rob Vinoy's video in the live chat. Thank you, Pegasus Club, for reminding me. This has part to do with what I'm talking about. Rob was part of the group of individuals who was involved in the doxing group run by Joy at the obvious behest of Corey Good. If people think that that's information is debatable or subject to dispute, I'll tell you that I watched part of Rob's video, and quite frankly, I don't think he really engages with the evidence that's out there. It's just a whole bunch of talking about this, that, and the other thing, which is a technique that sometimes people do. I invite Rob if he wants to. He can come. He can contact me, and I'd be more than willing to talk to him directly on my channel or on his channel. God bless you, Brandon. Thank you for the donation, and talk to him about it. I mean, he should be bearing in mind that when we do talk, he's going to have to actively engage with me as an individual who knows that these screenshots were not doctored, they were not altered. They are as they are. They are as captured. Look, I'm not a journalist and I'm not a researcher, so when I talk, um, you're not going to get a lot of sources and citations, and I'm not one of these guys. There's plenty of guys and gals out here on YouTube who do very amazing work. Um, you know, articulating an argument or running people through, an evidence or a fact pattern. And, God bless those individuals. We play to our strengths and we accept our weaknesses. So what I'm going to just tell you today is just try and clear the air about some things that came up, and just talk about some things. Um, Haters are going to hate, and the title of this video is the best source for information on C.W.Chanter is C.W.Chanter. If you go and you see a clip show, somebody who's clipped some stuff or who's talking, you know, about someone, you need to know and understand that editing begins the process of editorialization. What you choose to present, what you choose not to present. Recently, what has happened to me is that someone has taken a long clip of me speaking about my faith and the evolution of my faith, Commonwealth chanting, and quite frankly, intentionally uh, cut a huge part out in order to create a new context, in order to make a new argument and to support a conclusion. Basically, their conclusion is that I've admitted in the past that Commonwealth chanting, my religion, my faith, that you can see, spoken about often on my videos and various playlists and on its own independent channel, was concocted by me as a cult, to be a cult, to allow me to quote unquote take advantage of women's bodies and take advantage of men. Um, this is a gross misrepresentation of my point of view, and it's an intentional misrepresentation of my previous statements about Commonwealth chanting. Look, when you have your own religion, your own faith, and you put it out there, and I've done my best. If people want to know what Commonwealth chanting is about, there's a playlist. You can see it in the description box below. You can go there. My friend Reemsey has made a recent video about his perspective on Commonwealth chanting as well. You can go check that out. If you want to see the facts and the reasoning, if you want to see the information, if you want to know what it is, you can check out the primary source documents. If you contact me via email, I'll send you an 11-page PDF that lays it all out, soup to nuts, including the fact that the point of Commonwealth chanting as a religion is an attempt to address, or one of the things it tries to do is attempt some of the problems that we've previously encountered with organized religion. A simple premise laid out very briefly. We know and understand that people engage in religion and religious practices. We know and understand, looking at people's experiences with various organized religions, that religion is a problematic subject matter that is subject to abuse. It can be used as a tool to abuse people. People can find themselves taken advantage of, or just in uncomfortable or bad situations in mainstream organized religions or smaller new religious movements, some of which may be labeled as cults. So when I try to do my own religion, I know and understand that people are going to be able to raise the specter or the argument that this is a cult and that I'm some sort of cult leader trying to play out the cult leader game. I know and I understand that. Part of what I try to do is to be as transparent as possible so that if someone decides to get involved in Commonwealth chanting, which does not involve any sort of deification of me as God, Messiah, Guru, or anything, really, read the primary source documents. You'll see and understand I'm not a big deal in Commonwealth chanting. I am a Commonwealth chanter, and I invite you to join along. And the only thing that I really kind of the only extra special status I have is the notion that I, as the first one, I'm the one who can tell you what it is and that has defined it. It's not spiritual, but not religious. It's a religion. It's got its practices, it's got its pluses, it's got its minuses, it's got its A's, B's, and C's. And that's all I really represent, a kind of living trademark to say, this is what it is, this is what it is, this is what it's not, and take it or leave it as you see fit. Take part of it, take all of it as you see fit. But don't misrepresent it, and don't try and recreate it or misconstrue it. If you want to read the documents, you can read the documents. If you want to see my videos talking about it in more in depth, you can avail yourself of that. And that's what I would recommend. If you want to know and understand what it is, thank you so much. God bless you for your donation. You can find out what it is by looking at what it is, not by hearing somebody else tell you what it is or getting some third party's perspective, especially when that third party has an agenda and just simply doesn't like me. What are you going to do? So I know and accept that, starting your own religion and putting it out there, you can be accused of being a cult leader. Part of my attempt to protect people is to let people know, and I say it in a very forthright way on my channel and my videos all the time. I'm a nasty person. I can be vindictive. I can be angry. I can be jealous. I'm a human being. I've got pluses. I've got minuses. I've got a lot of character flaws. I've always admitted that. So if you're trying to expose me as a semi-narcissistic individual with jealousy issues, sorry, folks, I beat you to the punch. I've already laid that out there pretty evidently in my videos, and I've talked about it too. I've talked about and addressed it too. So, already, don't survive or save it. I'm addressing the issue right now. There's no hate towards other YouTube content creators. Here's the thing. Me and Joe from the Carolinas are friends. We're friends. He has my personal contact information, including my personal cell phone. I have his. We send each other texts. We have had phone conversations in the past. We'll have phone conversations again in the future. So if you're going to champion Joe from the Carolinas, you don't need to champion him because me and him have already chiefed it out. Look, I'm not going to get distracted by the live chat. I can't. I don't have enough time to do that. I'm going to say again, you can see and understand what I am and who I am, including warts and all. I've put it out there. There's a lot of speculation out there. So let me get right to the quote. I looked to try and answer somebody's question on Twitter for a particular quote or a particular audio clip that was mined by another YouTube content creator in order to disparage me. And it goes something like this. I try to tell people exactly who I am so that people don't get involved in Commonwealth chanting and at some later date learn about me and say to themselves, oh, I feel like a sucker. I feel like a fool for getting involved in this because this guy's a jerk. Also, as a prophylactic measure to protect people from abuse and protect me from abusing people, I put it right out there. I've said it multiple times. If I ever come up to you and act like because you're a Commonwealth chanter, you should let me run some guru game on you, or try and get in your pants, or try to abuse you, or try and tell you what to do with your life, or micromanage you, go ahead and tell me to fuck off, because I'm way out of line. According to the rules of Commonwealth chanting, I'd be way out of line because I have no guru status. I have no special abilities. My dick cannot bring you enlightenment. That's as clear as I can say it. So if I come up and you trying to run a game that's going to be bad for you and going to be bad for me, do me a favor, help me out. Don't let me play that game. Help yourself out, protect yourself. I don't have no papers on you, and you shouldn't let me have any papers on you. Stand your own sovereignty if you practice Commonwealth chanting. That's the purpose of it. So the quote goes something like this. I describe how I started off life looking at wanting to be a cult leader, looking at wanting to do this religion thing because I was obsessed with religion and faith and practices and new religious movements and cults. So the quote that was taken out of context, and I looked for it, but I gave up the search because I realized I'd be here all day trying to find it. It goes something like this. In the beginning, I'll admit it. I thought to myself, being a cult leader would be a great thing. You don't work. Everyone does things for you. You could take advantage of women's bodies. You could take advantage of men and get them to do what you want to do to make you feel like more of a man. It's a pure statement of nastiness. Because guess what? As a human being, I've had good thoughts in my head. I've had nasty thoughts in my head. Do you know? I'm intense. Not trying to pat myself on the back. My good thoughts can be very, very good. And my bad thoughts can be very, 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 very dark. They can be. So I made this honest statement about the darkest of the dark of where I started off from. The darkest of the dark of where I started out from. And then I say that, and then I say, but you know what? I said to myself after a while, I evolved. I grew as a person, studying faith, studying religion. Thank God. No pun intended. Thank God it's no pun intended. It started to rub off on me. And I started to evolve and change. And I realized the point of this is not to take advantage of people's bodies, not to take advantage of people's minds, not to run a guru game on them. I looked at the life lessons of Aleister Crowley, L. Ron Hubbard, and Adi Dasamaraj and said, do I want to end up like that? Do I want to end up a black stain on history, remembered as a user and abuser of people? No. And so the quote goes on, and I say, in the audio bit that was taken out, you can look. The first time it's played on the dude's channel, I'm not going to mention people's names because I don't feel like doing that, and I don't need to do that because it's not my job. If I say someone, I think someone's a liar, I'm allowed to say that I think someone's a liar. And if they say prove it, I'm going to say I don't have time to prove that you're a liar. You know what I mean? Like, people are people. I'm not gonna spend my time nickeling and diming people and trying to chase everybody down or articulating everything. And if you want to take advantage of that and say CW says he can call someone a liar and not prove it, yeah, because you go around, you say, oh, your opinion about this guy's he's an SOB or he's no good. Lord knows people don't lay out all the articulation of what they say about me. So the quote goes on to say, the audio clip in full goes on to say that I've evolved from that point and I no longer feel that way, and that I looked at this faith as something that needed to evolve and change to be something that I could use, and that eventually coming up with something that worked as a religion, that was a religion, that I could practice as a religion, having studied all these religions, having attempted to go all these faiths paths, and not finding anyone that I could join in particular without engendering and gaining some sort of cognitive dissonance. I like this, I like this, I like this, but I don't like this, that, and the other thing. But knowing that I needed a faith and religion, knowing that I needed a spiritual practice to not just be spiritual but not religious, but that I needed religion. I needed something to help me keep me inside the tracks. Why? Because I can be dark. And why? Because I can misbehave. And I can fall short of my own conscious notions of morality and ethics. So I have a spiritual practice, and I have a faith practice, and I have a religion practice called Commonwealth Chanting. If you want to know what it's about, you can find out what it's about. But here's the thing, trying to be as transparent as possible and trying to give people the advantage of knowing my weaknesses as well as my strengths. It sets up a situation where a person could take out a quote and say, look at this weakness, and leave aside the strength. So again, I looked to see which particular video it was to find the actual, quote in its original form. And quite frankly, I gave up the search after a while. I've made almost daily content for years now. There's a lot of videos to pull through. But the full audio clip goes. I originally thought of this as something as, when I originally first started thinking about forming my own faith, my own cult. I thought of something that could work, and I knew I needed to come up with something that smelled like a religion, looked like a religion, and felt like a religion, so that I could exploit that to my own ends. But then discovering that I was adrift at a sea of moral and ethical quagmire, that I was really falling short of my expectations, that I was getting deeper and deeper involved in nihilistic thought processes and drugs and alcohol abuse, that I took that which I had generated for a self-admitted selfish means and tried to find and retool it and de-weaponize it to find what I could do, a spiritual and faith practice that I could do. And I did. I eventually formulated Commonwealth Chanting. And part of the process of formulating it was de-weaponizing it, making sure that it didn't set up a situation where I could abuse people, because I didn't want to abuse people, and where people couldn't be easily abused, because I didn't want people to be easily abused. So the best source for information on C.W.Chanter and Commonwealth Chanting is C.W.Chanter, because clips can be taken out of context. They can be. So if I'm man enough to say I started off thinking bad things and then I took my behavior and reformed myself, hey, the great thing about doing that is that you're honest and forthright. The bad thing is that people can take advantage of that, cut the split down the middle, and just say, look at this nasty thing he said about his faith and his practice, that he was doing it to be a cult leader. The dude in question who took the quote knows exactly what the full quote is. The first time he played the full quote out, he played the full quote out. So he knows what it is. But then subsequent repetitions where he repeated it over and over and over again, guess what? The part that was possibly could put me in a better light, that was taken out. And all that was left was the shit. What am I going to do? I can't control other people's actions. Am I going to stop being honest? No, because that would create an untenable situation where people might be presented with just the good things about me and not the bad things about me. People should be forewarned when being involved in me. I have in the past, out of jealousy, been mean to people. There's a lot of times also that the following happens. People think they know the whole story. They think they know that I'm doing something out of jealousy, or I'm doing something for views, or I'm doing something to generate controversy. And you know what? Oftentimes, they're wrong. Anybody can look at the behavior of another human being online and speculate as to what's going on behind the screen. There are plenty of people out there who are going to say in this community that they can do that because not only can they do that because they're such masterminds of human intelligence and games, but that they're also psychic. What am I going to do? Life is life, and haters are going to hate. So if you want to know what I said the full story. I said it started off as something bad, and then I de-weaponized it. I started thinking off that I'd be like an Aleister Crowley, L. Ron Hubbard, Adi Dasamraj guy, and you can see my evolution on my own channel. Here's another thing about speculation. There's a lot of people saying things like he's trying to privatize all these videos. Dude, there have been 2 times at the tail end of 2018 alone. No, or the beginning of 2019 alone, where I took all my videos and privatize them. I just took my whole channel basically down, and then slowly and surely I started up, sending them back to public, and I haven't gotten to all of them. No, Donut Survivor, it's not slander if you can't prove it. You can say anything you want to. You could say anything you want to, but just because you say something doesn't make it true. Sorry. Sorry. And I can't go around trying to answer everybody's question and playing everybody man for man or woman for woman, not because you're not a child of God, child of the goddess who deserves to be addressed and who deserves to have your needs met. But I'm not Buddha up on the hill, and I'm not Jesus Christ, and I can't, and I'm not certainly not God, so I can't answer everybody's questions all the time. And I'm just going to have to accept the fact that some people are going to have points of view and attitudes about me that are negative, and there ain't nothing I can do about it. There ain't nothing I can do about it. I can just be as honest and forthright as I feel that I can be and hope that it all works out in the end. So again, if someone wants to say that I'm doing something for controversy or views, they can say that. Doesn't make it so. If you want to know something about what I've said, if you want to know something about my attitude about X, Y, or Z, go ahead and ask me. Because I'm the only one that can tell you what you need to know. Other people can speculate, other people can articulate, other people can make statements. You want to hear from the source? Hear from the source and then make up your own opinion, your own judgment. But don't for a minute think, whether it's me or somebody else, that you're going to hear a 15-second clip on somebody else's channel as an expose, and that you've gotten the full length and breadth of the argument or the human being behind it. Okay? And that's the best I can do to answer the question. That's best I can do to help you guys out and understand, where I'm coming from this day. Okay? And there's certain people that are going to be willing to hear what I have to say, and there's certain people that are just going to be listening to just see what kind of arguments that they can make in response. It's called legalese. The great thing about the American jurisprudence about debates is that you can debate anything, any concept, any idea, any articulation, any movement, any action, any combat, from the universal scale to down to the individual actor. Yeah, sure. He was, he's kind to strangers, but that's just because he's trying to get into heaven. Oh yeah, sure. She's really nice and so helpful to people around the office. That's just because she wants everyone to kiss her ass. You know, anything can be analyzed, overanalyzed, and articulated. He did this because he's jealous. He did this because he's looking for proper, for people to behave correctly and people to give credit where credit's due. Anything can be flipped to look bad. Anything can be flipped to look good. And so you're just going to be left having to do the work of having to live an examined life, thinking carefully about what people say, thinking carefully about the sources of information, thinking carefully about accepting the fact that people are people. People are going to say things that you like, and people are going to say things that you don't like. And that's going to happen a lot. Folks, I love you, I love you, I love you, and I'd love to be here with you all day, but I've got other things I got to take care of today. Donut Survivor says, just because you say it doesn't make it true also. You are 100% correct. The game of life, the act and action of interpretation and study continues. It can never be delegated to another party. No one can do your thinking for you, and you shouldn't let anyone do your analysis for you. If you want to know and understand what's going on, you got to check it out yourself. You really do. So whether it's this guy, or they're going to say, I'm hating on this person, I'm hating on that person. Hey, you know what? People hate on me all the time. They do. And some of those arguments are well-founded, and some of those arguments are just well-founded on the ground. They see someone who has a right to make an argument. They pick it up and say, look, C.W.Chanter's, he burned this person, he burned that person, he burned this person. Unless you're that person, you got no call saying that what that person thinks about a situation, what's going on in their head, how they feel about what I did or didn't do to them. Okay? You don't. You're just speculating. And that's just a guessing game. So think about it. When you hear people talk about what other third-hand information, hearsay information, think about it. Is he able to say that he knows this person, that he talked to them personally? And if they didn't talk to them personally, they got no idea what they're talking about. They're just talking out of their ass. And that happens a lot. Hey, and you know what? Sometimes I could be accused of doing that too. And you know what? Sometimes when I'm accused of doing that too, the argument is right and well founded because I'm far from perfect and I've never pretended to be so. Okay? So that's the best I can do for you. That's the best I could do for you. There are going to be people that hear this argument and accept it for what it is and think that I'm telling the truth. And there are going to be people who are just going to sit there and say, blah, 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 blah. And there's going to be people who have criticisms of me that are correct. And then there are going to be people who have criticisms about me that are just them gaming the system and playing the game. Haters going to hate. And there's some y'all who are just pure haters. It's just the way that it goes, baby. You know? But to the degree that I can manifest it because I think it's good for me and for you, even the haters, I try to remind myself we're all human beings. We're all trying to get our needs met. We've all had dark nights of the soul. We've all had good times. We're all trying to be happy and feel pleasure, and we're all trying to avoid pain. And we got to accept life for what it is, which is going to include bumpy roads and scraped knees. So to the haters, I say, thank you. Even though you're manifesting aggression or anger towards me or this, that, or the other thing, still, I'll just try and find that silver lining and say, this person is helping me to learn how to be a better person because they're giving me stuff that I need to let go. They're giving me transgressions that I need to learn to excuse and forgive, as I would hope they would forgive the transgressions and the aggression of me. Whether you believe me or whether you don't, the fact remains. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. And if no one told you that they loved you today, someone just did. And that's somebody C.W.Chanter. Okay? So I'll catch y'all real soon. Wish me luck. Hope I have fun at the concert tonight. I know I will. I'm going to stay straight. I'm going to stay sober. God and Goddess looking out above. Pray to them. Let's keep it going. And I'll see you, if not tomorrow, I'll see you some other time real soon. God bless y'all. I love you. I truly do.